So I had to like move one out of the way to move the other one in, to move the other one back in on top of it, right? So this took ages because of the stupid controls, and I'm like,
and then
God,
it gives you a
damn
hint and you yell at it.
Yes! It was like, have you tried stacking them? And I was like, F you! Don't make me look like an idiot. I know what I'm doing. It's your goddamn stupid controls that are making me take ages. Welcome to an episode of maybe the podcast, maybe not the podcast. I think we just want to talk about Final Fantasy VII, really. We'll call it the two fat guys with beards talk about Final Fantasy VII Remake and the old one too.
Episode 1 of 99.
Can't wait for that 100th episode. But yeah, we just wanted to do a little video. It's been a little while since we've done a podcast, so I was like, we need to get together and do something. And I thought, why not have an episode dedicated to the remake of Final Fantasy VII, because it is a big event. It has been out for a week. We've both played it. I want to know, in 4 words, what's your opinion on Final Fantasy VII Remake? Go.
I like it lots.
You like it lots. Mine
Done.
is
Easy.
too much bloody busy work. But we're going to get onto that. We're going to get onto that. So we actually talked about Final Fantasy VII on like one of the earlier episodes of the podcast. We talked about we're
like
both looking forward
3
to
or
it.
4 episodes. We're just
Yeah.
like, Final Fantasy.
Well, we're both big Final Fantasy fans. I love the original. It was the first Final Fantasy that I ever played. I've played it and completed it about 5, 6, 7 times. We're both big fans of it. And so we were both super excited when we found out they were going to remake it. And I think this game has been kind of divisive even before it came out. There were a lot of people like, why is it going to be episodic? Oh no, like we don't need to remake it. Like, oh, but it's here. We've played it and we have opinions about it. So we're talking about it. That's it. That's the whole episode. So, yeah, buckle up, sit down, get a snack or something, because this is probably going to go on for a while.
They should have already had.
They should have, yeah. They should have. I'm really selling this episode, aren't I? I'm like, yeah, guys, just deal with it. It's going to happen. It's going to be long and boring, and we're going to chat about shit. So, yeah, why are you still here? No, please, no, stay. It's going to be entertaining. I'll make jokes and stuff.
Smash that like button.
Yeah, subscribe as well, because you get more of these really bad introductions for our episodes. I honestly couldn't have done this any worse, but it's fine. We're going to move on. We're not going to re-record it or anything. It's fine. So, yeah, okay, let's get our initial thoughts and opinions about the game, because I was super excited for it. You super excited. You've completed it. I haven't yet. I'm like steadily trudging through.
I made maybe a mistake in like an error in judgment.
You made an error.
Decided that I was going to do 4 days, 10 hours a day in a row. Yeah. At the end of it, I was very tired, which is there was. I just
so Elliot streamed it. He streamed it 4 days. Back to back, 10 hours a day, and I'm not gonna lie, by like day 3 it was like you'd done some sort of gaming marathon or something. He was like just one more mission. I can do it, guys. Just, are you like, what? But I remember you were actually like falling asleep nearly on stream. You were like, I was gonna go early, but here I am like 2 hours late.
Yeah, it happened. I was quite like, because it was a bank holiday. That's how I did it. For if anyone watches this years in the future, because they're looking to dig up dirt on me because I did a tweet that made you angry. If that's why you're here, it's gonna be a long boy. Yeah. But yeah, so it got to like the Monday, and I actually finished like in 8 hours on the Monday, and I was so pleased because on the Monday, like, so my mum drops into my stream every now and then, and she texts me, and she was like, "You look awful." That's all she said.
You know, it's bad when your mum says it. Like, your mum's supposed to be on your side. She's supposed to be one that's like, hey, you look great, even though you've definitely been out on the night before with like lots of beers. Like, you know, she's supposed to be your cheerleader, and she said you look like shit.
Well, I mean, it was day 4. I was in a hood up, just like, okay, cool, more Final Fantasy. I can't wait.
Was it a black hoodie, and did you have a number tattooed on your arm by this point? Like number?
It was a bright
69.
yellow hoodie.
Oh.
There may have been some branding involved.
Why would you wear a bright yellow hoodie? Like, who would choose yellow as their branding color? What an idiot. What silly color. Ugh. I have to say that I like my yellow hoodie. I don't give a shit. So I feel like I should point out there is going to be spoilers for both the old Final Fantasy and the new Final Fantasy. I'm going to try my best to try and keep the spoilers to a minimum, but they're going to happen. So, and that kind of brings me on to a topic. Even though I said we were going to give our thoughts and opinions on the game, I guess we'll just do it as we go. Spoilers. Everyone's having a conversation about spoilers again, because this happens when a game that is, how old is it? Final Fantasy 7? 20 odd years?
Well, it's 1996, I think. So 14 years.
Oh, 14 years. Wait, is that right?
1996, yeah.
No, 24 years. Wait.
Oh, yeah.
24 years.
What year are we in?
This coronavirus has got to our heads. I can't remember what decade we're in.
I'm just about to turn 20, I'm pretty sure.
2020 or 2030? It's been a while. But yeah, it's an old game. Very, very old game. And it's a very... I feel like it's a very influential game. I feel like it's a very well-known game, even though I don't think everybody's played it. I think it was quite a niche amount of people have played the game, but quite a lot of people know about it. And anyone who knows the story through the games or the other media around the game, there was this one big moment in Final Fantasy VII. There was a really influential moment that happened and a character died. And I still think, even to this day, even with games like The Last of Us and things like this, the moment in Final Fantasy VII, the original, where the character dies, was so influential because not only was it part of the plot and it was integral to the plot, but it was a character that you'd been spending time getting to know, and you'd been upgrading, you'd been using in your party. I mean, I think
it's
a
not
lot
even
of
like
people...
it's early in the game that it happens either.
Yes,
like you're pretty invested by this point.
Yes, 100%. And so when it happens, it hits you like a truck. And I remember the first time I saw it happen, and I was like, oh shit, I thought they were going to come back. I thought we were going to like Phoenix down them or some shit. They were going to come back. But no, it's a key moment in the journey of Final Fantasy VII. And it's very interesting because when a remake comes out of a game that's this old, there's going to be people that have never played it, who have never experienced it, who kind of maybe know about Final Fantasy VII, but like never got to play it. So they're super excited. They're like, hey, I want to play this game that just came out. It's great. And everybody's around spoiling it everywhere. What do you think about spoilers?
Someone just rocks up in your stream chat and is just like, oh, by the way, don't get too attached to such and such. And you're like, what is wrong with you?
But yeah, what do you think? I think it's hard. Like, should we say to people, like, come on, the game is 24 years old, like, you should know it by now? Or do we say, hey, people are going to experience this for the first time, like, let them experience it, you know?
There's actually, like, a really good parallel with when they made the Hobbit films. There was, like, an interview with, I can't remember which actor it was with, and, like, they said something that happens in the story, and someone was like, oh, like, spoiler for the movie, and they were like, well, the book's, like, 50 years old.
Yeah.
And I kind of lean the other way, like if it's me streaming it. So I streamed it and I basically said, like, look, no spoilers, because a load of my community hadn't seen the original. Sure. So I was like, it's almost like they're getting to experience this story first time. And then I'm also getting to experience, because like the game isn't exactly like shot for shot.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like...
What do you mean it's not exactly shot for shot? It's like a whole new goddamn game.
Yeah.
We're going to come on to this. It's like a whole new goddamn game. There's things in this game that I never thought I would ever see. We'll come to it.
Oh my, some of the things. So I actually, this is going to be such a meandering video.
So we're just going to put that topic about spoilers to bed for a second while we'll talk about another topic. It's fine. This is Elliot's brain. Go.
So obviously we talked about it a lot on the podcast as we went on, and like as we got more information, like our opinions changed and the conversations we had changed. And I feel like, and I reckon, like, if we went back through the podcast and stuff like that, I think a lot of my predictions were pretty accurate.
Sure.
For how it was going to be different, how it was going to be the same. Yeah. There was parts of that game that I could never have predicted was going to be in it. Like, there was just no chance.
So we said back on this podcast episode where we actually spent a lot of time talking about it, we said what we both originally wanted was the exact same game, just with modern graphics. And then when they announced that it was going to be episodic, we were both like, huh? But then we both kind of warmed to the idea and was like, well, hang on a minute, maybe they could do more to it. And they have done more to it. They've done lots more to it. Some might even say too much to it. I feel like at this point the game feels almost like Final Fantasy VII in the Kingdom Hearts universe, almost. Like, anyone who's played Kingdom Hearts,
don't do
there
this
are
to me.
so many parallels, man. Like, those little ghost buggers, like, they're basically heartless.
That's the only parallel.
They're like heartless, and then the people designs, I mean, the combat obviously is very similar to Kingdom Hearts, just a bit more tactical. The enemy designs, there's like some of the music, I was playing the game today, some of the music reminds me of Kingdom Hearts. It's like,
but Kingdom Hearts takes some of the music from Final Fantasy.
Well, yeah, no, of course, they're very linked series, but it's like, I don't know, it almost feels like Kingdom Hearts is infected. I mean, the one thing that we did say before the game came out, before anybody had seen any gameplay footage or anything like that, is we said, one thing that we were worried about is that in Final Fantasy VII, it's a very serious game. Like, the game is very serious. We've just talked about, a major character death that happens. There's a lot of really serious tones to that game with environmental and political sort of stuff. And with Cloud in general being, like, under all this immense pressure and having all of these sort of, I don't want to say, like, mental health, but he has, like, a lot of problems going on. But then all of that is contrasted so well with all this just, like, silly levity. Like, these silly, like, little moments. The whole, like, dressing up as a woman and some of the side characters in Final Fantasy VII just being crazy wackadoo. And we were like, are they gonna, like, Batmanify it? Are they gonna, like, make it so that it's like, oh, dark and gritty and Cloud must be emo all of the time like he was in Advent Children? And I'm happy to say, no, it's not that.
They did a really good job of capturing the tone of the original, because there's still the very, very serious moments, and there's and they did one of the things that I was happiest with, and I cannot give Square Enix enough credit for with this, is giving us the depth of the secondary characters that we never really got in the first. Like, it was there to look for. There was the lore there in the first game, but like, you never really got
but it was super shallow as well. Like, it was just throwaway lines half the time. It'd be like, here's a little tiny bit of dialogue, and that was it. There wasn't really any other sort of, there was a lot of exploration in Final Fantasy VII, but a lot of it didn't really pay off with anything sort of story wise. A lot of it was kind of just, I don't know, little throwaway things and maybe some items here and there. But the new one really does go into depth. I mean, some of these characters, again, if you've played the original, aren't in the entirety of the game. Like, some of these characters are getting fully fleshed out. Backstories, you're meeting their parents at one point and seeing their past and their history and their motivations and how they joined Avalanche. It's wonderful. I love that. I love
Wedge more than life itself.
I
would kill for that, man.
I haven't found a single character yet that I've gone, I don't like that character. Like, they've added quite a few new characters. There's a lot of old characters that I feel could have been done poorly, and so far none of them have.
What chapter are you on at the moment? Do you know?
I am up to, and I was going to talk about this, I am up to the bit where you have to move all of the crane arms for about 6 hours. And it's really, really interesting and engaging gameplay where you've got to move cranes up and down and to the side, and you've got to pick things up.
You've met Roche.
Yes. I
love Roche.
I like Roche. This is what I was saying, though. Like, Roche is, like, straight up out of Kingdom Hearts. He's like the campy Kingdom Hearts frenemy guy that turns up and you have no idea who he is or why he's there, but you don't care because you're just happy to fight him. Like, I don't know who he is.
To be fair, I can kind of see because like, he even looks a bit Kingdom Heartsy. Like, he looks like there should be 8 X's in his name.
Yes. Roche X. Wow.
Well, I think,
did I just say a bad word on YouTube by accident?
Roche
I think I did.
Roche
X? Kind of.
Yeah.
X Roche. We'll call him X Roche. It's fine. Demonetized. It's fine. X Roche.
Zoshux.
Anyone who's never played the Kingdom Hearts is like, what the fuck are they talking about right now? Like, what? They've lost the plot. Which, to be fair, Kingdom Hearts producer has lost the plot, so it's fine.
Kingdom Hearts hasn't lost the plot. They just hide it all over the place like an Easter egg hunt.
No, they lost it so hard. Like, the Kingdom Hearts. I love Kingdom Hearts, but the Kingdom Hearts series is just...
all of the spin-off games and read the mangas and seen...
Even if you have, no one knows what's going on.
Videos.
There's that one guy that's like, I've spent 5,000 hours deciphering the code of the Kingdom Hearts storyline, and I'm still fucking stumped. Like, no one knows. No one has a clue.
I've come to the conclusion.
I think they literally got a spider and they dipped it in ink and they threw it at a page, and then that's what they came up with. But yeah, no, I don't know. It's the side characters are really cool. The ones that they've added, I really like him. Roche is a cool one. A lot of the characters that were in Final Fantasy VII have been expanded on. I've just done the fight with the Turks. Like, you get to fight the Turks in this one, and I'm not gonna lie, there's been moments in this game that have had me laughing out loud. Like, I have absolutely been howling. There was two. There was one part today where I thought, there's minor spoilers, but this happens in the original. You fight Rude, and some of his abilities are they're just so over the top hilarious. You're seeing Cloud get picked up, spun around, and like, I don't know, body slammed.
The most hilarious thing about the best ability that Rude has is he always has more sunglasses.
Yes,
there's
this one bit where you beat him up and his sunglasses just like break, so he just takes it off and just pulls another one out and just like, there you go.
I think it's like Advent Children, like Reno stands on the back accident and he's like, and then he just pulls out another pair, and it's just.
This is why I'm saying they've captured, like, one of the big worries we had was because Advent Children, which, if you've never seen Advent Children, it's the sequel to the game. It's set after the game, after a lot of shit happened, and the tone is very different. It's kind of similar, but the tone is very different. Like, Cloud is a very different person in the sequel. He's going through some shit in the sequel, in Advent Children, right? And the whole point of Advent Children is basically Cloud sort of getting over the game. Like, it's him.
Cloud is a walking identity crisis.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
He's like the perfect protagonist because he has no idea who he is.
He could be anybody. But no, so in Advent Children, Cloud is very dark and moody and depressed all the time. And this is what I was worried that we were going to do with Final Fantasy VII. I was worried they were going to bring Advent Children Cloud into 7, because really, Cloud in 7 has problems, but it's nowhere near the level of Advent Children Cloud. Like, he really is. He still has his humor. He still has his like, oh, like I'm only going to do something if you're going to pay me for it, kind of, happy-go-lucky kind of thing. In Advent Children, he doesn't, and I was worried that they were going to like make him too dark and gritty in this one. It's not true. Like I said, I just watched my character get like spun around like a little doll and thrown around an arena for 5 minutes. That was pretty fun. Yeah, I'm happy with Cloud as a character, which he obviously is integral. But I have some criticisms with the game, and I want to talk about the criticisms.
I have like two.
You have two
criticisms.
I think maybe you should do yours first, because I've got more than two.
So my biggest one is they have really, really lazy skyboxes. Like, there are parts where, like, when you go through the underplate?
Yes.
Before the second... Did you look down during that point?
Yeah.
You can see it. It's just a flat text.
Yeah. Yeah. So what Elliot's saying is there's a part where you're massively high up in the sky. You're on the plate of Midgar, and you look down, and obviously there's a background texture, so you're seeing the slums below. And honestly, it looks. It's 2D. It's like a 2D.
Yeah, but it looks flat.
Yeah. It looks like it's been painted
snaff.
on. It looks like a painting, and
the skyboxes later in the game exactly the same.
Yeah.
Every time you're looking down on a skybox, it is not like it's not good. It doesn't look good. And the worst bit is because the main characters look so good.
Yes.
Like, you notice it worse.
This is what I was going to say.
Not secondary characters, NPCs. You can, if you stand Cloud next to a random person in the street having a conversation, because I love, as you walk around Midgar, there are people having conversations about all sorts of things that are going on, things that Shinra are reporting on, stuff that you're seeing
it's
on
like a
TVs
real
and other
living
places.
place.
But if you go and stand next to them and look at the characters next to each other, they are stark difference. Like, it's like night and day. Like the secondary characters look like PS3 models. Like, it's just made worse by the fact the main characters look so good.
This is one of my big criticisms of the game, because the game generally looks stunning. It is modern day 1080p graphics, and I feel like they've done, considering that this is a PS4 exclusive at the moment, and we're not running on PCs right now, I feel like they've done a really good job of making the game look stunning, except all the times that it isn't. And I had the bug that you didn't have. I've had the missing textures bug, where just randomly throughout the game, I'll be walking through the streets and there's just stuff that just doesn't have texture on it. And it really ruins it, because you have like one side of the street. I'll see if I can actually capture some footage. I might not have time, but we'll see. You'll look at one side of the street and it looks beautiful, detailed and gorgeous. And the other side of the street looks blurred, and it looks like something out of PUBG. I'm like,
I've had moments like that with the vending machines.
Yeah.
Sometimes the draw distance on the vending machines just doesn't work, and you'll be stood right in front of it, and it looks like you haven't got your contacts in. Like, it was just weird. But to be fair, it didn't drag me out of the game because I was enjoying it so much.
It didn't kill it for me either. Nothing that I have a criticism of this game, nothing has killed it for me. So we are fully clear on this, I really like this game. I'm a huge fan of the remake so far. But all of these little criticisms are just minor things, but they all kind of add up to make me go a bit like, oh, God, I just wish they'd done this differently. So the graphics is one thing, and I agree with you on the drawbacks. It's true. They look horrendous in parts, which is such a shame because the game looks gorgeous overall. But also to that, what was I going to say? I've lost my train of thought. I have so many criticisms. I've lost what I was going to say. It's like... Mind blank. My mind has gone blank. The graphics were bad. Yes, no, that was it. I've remembered. There we go. So, on top of that, the game has really badly hidden loading screens because there is like very few, if like no loading screens in the game. But what it does is it does that whole, we're going to make you force walk for a second and sneak between something really, really like tight. So you have to like shuffle through it really slowly for a minute while we load the background areas.
And some of those crawl through spaces are long.
Yes.
There's a couple of them where like I had to go back and forth between two areas because I was looking for something specific. And it's just like, it's almost like 45 seconds of squeezing through a gap. You're like, stop.
Yeah. And then you go through one and then you go, oh crap, I'm going the wrong way. And you got to go right back through it again. And this is one thing, but then there's also parts of this game where you'll be traveling with a companion and you'll be walking from point A to point B. And point A is quite far away from point B. And so sometimes you have like combat in the middle. I would argue quite often there's not enough of that combat because you'll fight like 3 really easy things and then you'll fight 3 really other easy things and then you'll fight 3 more easy things and then you're done and then there's nothing and you can't go back and fight them again, which I used to like to do that in Final Fantasy VII. I used to like to go and grind and level up my materia. You can't really do it. You have to then proceed to the next part because they don't respawn. But then there's this like parts where just you'll be walking with a character for ages and like nothing happens. Like there's no really interesting dialogue. There's like some throwaway dialogue, like Aeris will be like, oh hey, this is a cafe, and then Cloud will be like, oh, I don't care because I don't care about anything, and then Aeris will be like, oh Cloud, and then they'll move on and it'll be like, why did you just waste my time with that? Like, that was not interesting. That was not interesting dialogue. Like I want interesting dialogue. I don't want throwaway. Like, I don't mind the throwaway dialogue in the combat and stuff, you know, where, like, you'll switch between the characters and one go, oh, it's my turn now. Like, I don't mind that. That's fine. But, like, if you're going to route point A to point B and nothing happens in that route, either put combat in it or put some interesting dialogue in it or both. Don't put nothing. Or worse, even worse than that, they put these bullshit little goddamn, I don't even want to call them puzzles or mini games because they're not. It's just like, oh, I need to push a crate out of the way. Hold triangle, push, 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 push. And then you push it and that's it. You're done. And it's like, great. Oh, there's another part where Cloud's like, there's a locked gate and Aeris is like, sorry, I'm calling it Aeris. I know there's going to be people in the comments be like, oh, it's just called Aeris. In my original version of Final Fantasy VII, she was called Aeris, and I can't change. I'm too old, right? She's like, she'll be like, oh, I don't know how we're going to get past this gate. And then you climb up a ladder, and then you'll do a little shimmy, and then there'll be a little monkey bars you've got to, like, climb over. And then you'll press the button, and then you go down another ladder, and that's it. And then I'm like, why did I just do any of that? Like, what was the
monkey bars
reason
were
for
really
it?
clunky as well.
Yes, so
Because it was
hard
like
to control.
4 directional monkey. So like you hit like a corner, and I would naturally I just try and like swerve the corner. So you go from up on the D-pad on the analog stick to like turning.
Yeah,
and then he'll just be like he'll be going up to the corner, and then he goes like. Like, what are you doing, Cloud?
Yeah.
Stop that.
But because there's like a slight delay, you'll turn, you'll stop, and then Cloud stops, and then you'll turn, and then it's like, the movement's quite clunky in a lot of sections. When you're not in combat, there'll be these boxes that are dotted around, and you smash them open, and they can have like items in them, or they can have like Mako shards and stuff. And if you run up to the box and you hit it, Cloud just stops. Like, he just stops moving, and then you've got to wait for him to put his sword away, and then you can move again. And it's like, it's only like a second that he stops moving, but it just feels so clunky. I'm like, what's the point? Why did you make him move this way? I don't, like, out of combat Cloud seems...
I found his running a bit, not glidey, that's not the right word, but like trying to turn tight corners. So at one point, I was in a building, there was a big cafeteria, and I found out that the chairs had collision. So I tried to pile all the chairs in the corner like it was the end of a school assembly.
Why not? Why not?
Look, if a game gives me the freedom to make a big pile of junk, I'm going to do it. So I was like, basically, the only way you can do it is basically just keep pushing into it until it's in the corner, and then you run away. And the best bit I found with this is the secondary characters you don't have control of, they also have collision with movable objects, which can be either hilarious or super annoying.
Yeah.
So I'm piling chairs in the corner, but like trying to get Cloud to turn around, unless you get it perfectly, where it's like you run and then he does like the little like skid and then runs exactly the other way. If he starts turning, that's it. It's like turning a tugboat. It's you're like run, and then he's like, oh, super well-trained soldier thing, and it's like, cool, I'm gonna try and run, and then it's like, I'll turn left, and he goes, oh.
But like the movement isn't great in combat either. Like, so combat, if you've not played the game yet, if you're planning on playing the game, the combat, you get to switch between your different characters, and every character plays a little bit differently, but they all pretty much have the same thing. You have your attacks, you can use abilities which require your ATB, which charges over time, it charges quicker if you're attacking. And I found, for example, Cloud, your main character who you've been playing, is probably going to be playing as the most because he's always in your party. He has two modes that he can switch between. He has Operator mode and he has Punisher mode. Operator mode is your normal standard mode, that's fine. Punisher mode, he's super slow, in my opinion, way too slow. He can't move between enemies when he's in Punisher mode. He's basically rooted to his spot. But he can block, and if an enemy attacks you while you're blocking, you do like a little counter attack, but he can't block range. So Punisher mode, where you can't block range, as soon as you switch into Punisher mode, most enemies just scoot away. Like, they're gone, and then you got to switch back to Operator mode. But there's like a slight latency on it. It takes like a second, and if you're already like mashing your attack button, it won't register. So you have to stop attacking, press triangle, then in that time hope that the enemy hasn't moved again, because if they have moved again, you're shit out of luck. And to make that even worse, half the enemies are like airborne. Well, not half of them, but quite a lot of enemies like go airborne, and Cloud just cannot figure out airborne enemies. Like, when he's in Operator mode, he can jump up and attack.
The melee characters with like airborne is rough. I will admit that.
But there's like sections where you have no ranged, so you're either relying on using magic,
which
requires
and
ATB.
Hope they haven't moved.
Yes, exactly. It just feels so clunky. But what I don't understand though is this combat is basically Kingdom Hearts combat, but Kingdom Hearts sorted that. Like, with Kingdom Hearts, after you've gotten certain enough abilities, you'll have enough aerial abilities that you can just deal with aerial enemies. And I'm like, why didn't they just do that for Cloud? Like, he has all of these flashy moves where he's spinning all over the place. Why not just give him like a little aerial dodge or something? Like, I
did hate the fact that, like, I wish you could do like a braver onto an aerial enemy by being closer or anything. Like, because he, like, all of his abilities, if something's in the air, useless.
Yeah.
Your problem with Punisher is because you're going out of Punisher wrong. If you do a dodge roll, he leaves Punisher.
No, I get that. What I'm saying
so you
is...
just do that.
No,
just roll towards shit.
But then you have to then go back into Punisher. That's what I'm saying. But because it takes a while, and the enemies are so fast...
and just combo into it. Get a few hits, press triangle.
Yeah, it's not like something that I'm like, this can't be done. I'm just saying it doesn't feel satisfying when you're, especially the fact that you can get taken out of Punisher by getting hit by a ranged attack too. And talking about getting taken out of Punisher by getting hit by shit, you can get your spells cancelled by getting hit by things, which I think is the thing that triggers me the most in this combat. So
you've played Dark Souls, which cancels actions if you get hit.
Yes, in that though, the combat is fluid and smooth for the most part. In this one, it's not. So again, with the way that the combat works, you have to charge up your ATB, and at the moment, everyone has 2. I think there's ways you can get more, but you have 2 charges of your ATB. Some abilities require 1, some require 2. But say a really important ability, like using an item or a spell. So let's just say your other party member is on the floor dead, well, knocked out, and you need to use a Phoenix down or some shit, or maybe revive's a better example. So you want to use your revive spell. You're casting your revive spell, which takes a few seconds to cast, and some knobhead enemy comes in and just chomps your face, and your spell doesn't cast. But not only does your spell not cast, you still lose the ATB that you accrued spending it, so you don't... Ugh, it annoys me. Can you tell? I don't like it. I don't like when I'm like when it's... I want to be tactical, and I want to like do the revive spell or whatever, but then it stops, and then it just... I hate it. I hate it a lot. I don't like it.
I mean, there's an answer to it. And it comes from some good friends of mine in the FromSoft community, and it's get good. Just don't. Yeah, because I actually really like the fact that when you're in the menus, it's slow mo, not stopping. Because you can like pay attention to what's going on, and it lets you So every time I menu, I just look around. So I just got into the habit of, because I had very similar problems with the combat, like up to about halfway through the game. And then there's bosses and stuff that really make you pay attention to what's going on.
I mean,
and I think you hit
the
a
thing
bit
is,
of a...
there's some enemies that they're just so quick and they're so thing that it can be very, very difficult, if not impossible, sometimes to dodge them. So again, it's not difficult. Like I think I've died like once in my entire playthrough up to this point, and that's because I just went into a fight not paying attention to its weakness, and then I figured out its weakness. I was like, okay, easy. But it's not difficult. It's not like, oh my god, this game's too hard. It's just not fun. Like, I don't find it fun when I have one ATB charge left, my other person's on the floor dead, and I do a spell and it gets cancelled. I don't find that fun. Like, I don't know. It doesn't feel as satisfying as Kingdom Hearts combat, or it doesn't feel as satisfying as old Final Fantasy combat where it was turn-based. It's kind of like they've mashed them together, but not in a good way. Like, I really hope that I don't know. I kind of want the combat to be a bit more fluid if it's going to be action based. I don't want it to be this. It feels a little clunky to me. I don't want it to be clunky. It's like either go all in on your action or be tactical like Final Fantasy VII. Don't try and do the best of both, because it's not working. It's not working for me. Again, I like the combat. Okay, I like the combat. I just get irritated by it at points, and I don't see the point. Like, I don't see that point in the irritation. I'd rather the enemies were a little bit more difficult, maybe, and just less annoying, which is something that I've been saying a lot in Sekiro recently as well, but we're not going to get onto that topic today.
So I found with with the remake combat, I found the bosses were very, very well put together, but there was like some mobs that just early game were like there's certain mobs where, like, if you hit them with a physical attack at the start of a combat, they'll put on a physical shield. If you hit them with a magic attack, they put on a magic shield.
Yeah.
Whereas until you have access to like certain skills and materia, you basically can't hit them with a magic spell first, because you need to be hitting with physicals.
Well, I think like this is a really good example of what, like, I think the combat wants you to switch, because there's a lot of opportunities where you really have to switch. So like what you said with the little guys that put magic shells on and then they'll switch. And also, quite often, your characters will you'll lose control of them. They'll either get put to sleep or they'll get grabbed by something. And then I feel like the game is just telling you to switch. Because you switch to another character, you can either break them out or you could do the thing. And I like that, and that's fine. Like, that. But then at the same time, when that happens to all of your characters, which has happened to me before, where all of my characters got put to sleep, I was just like, oh, okay. I gotta make a cup of tea, I come back, and hopefully we're alive. Yeah.
I did have one encounter that was like a side mission fight where I found I was just getting chain slapped, and I was getting real mad about it. And I went back into the fight. I think it was like the third time. The second time it just happened again to me. And I went back in the third time, and I just tried to fight like a lot more mobile, like in and out, almost like Dark Souls style. When I played DS1, I was very like in and out. And it worked. And I think like the game really does reward you picking your fighting style for what you're fighting.
Yeah, it takes elements from Persona as well. So every enemy has a stagger meter, and every time you attack and land hits on the enemy, that stagger meter will get increasingly full. And when it finally gets full, the enemy will get downed, and you'll do extra damage to it. But you can stagger them way quicker if you use their weakness. It's very, very similar to Persona combat. But again, half the time, why I don't like it is because you'll say an enemy will be weak to Blizzard, right? And you'll cast your Blizzard spell, and either you'll get interrupted so that your Blizzard spell doesn't get off, or another enemy will just move in front of
landing
it
a
by
Blizzard
accident.
spell is really hard.
Yes,
because it hits them as like a tracer almost, and then it like leaves the spell. Making them stay in that area is very difficult.
Yes, because all the enemies in this are super mobile. Like I don't think there's any enemies that really aren't. There's a few that are less mobile, but like even the ones that are less mobile seem to have like charge attacks or big ranged attacks or something to make up with it. I mean, again, the combat's not that difficult. Can we just put this out there? I'm not saying that the game's too hard. What I'm saying is that the combat doesn't always feel as satisfying as I feel like it could do. You know, like Kingdom Hearts feels more satisfying than this. And also, I don't know, I like the old Final Fantasy style, so I think that's more satisfying than this. I feel like they should have leaned heavier more towards one side or the other. Like, they're trying to be slap bang in the middle between Final Fantasy VII and Kingdom Hearts, and it's just not working for me. Again, like, it's satisfying for the most part. It's just in certain points where I'm just like...
Out of interest, have you found that you've had problems with the combat with boss fights, or is it just because I basically
not at all with boss fights. Boss fights are easy peasy.
boss fights I found are like it always just seems to work really well. I feel
Yep.
like they really thought about the boss fights, and they really did. Even the ones that were difficult, it was like very satisfying to fight.
Yes, yeah,
and I came out of every boss fight when I won feeling like I earned the win.
Yeah.
So I think they did a fantastic job with the boss fight.
Yeah,
but I think there are some mobs where it is frustrating.
Yeah, I say it's not like I wouldn't go as far as say it was frustrating. I'd say it was just it almost feels like a shame that the combat isn't as fluid for the smaller mobs because it doesn't feel as fun as it could do. And whereas I do like the ATB system and I like the whole like, you know, you need to earn your charges and spend them. The point is where if you have no ATB charges and you're near death, you can't use items or healing spells. So the only way you can get ATB is by attacking the enemy, which will usually mean you're going to take more damage because you're attacking an enemy. They will attack you back. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like the design on paper sounds great, but when it put into practice, it's kind of like, wait, so you're saying that I have no health and I can't heal, and the only way I can heal is by attacking the enemy more. Sounds great. You know, like Bloodborne did it well. That was fine because you get your health back when you attack, but this doesn't. Sometimes I just feel like it's badly designed. But again, it wasn't enough to make me hate the combat. I enjoy the combat for the most part. In fact, like I said before, there's parts where I wish there was more combat so I could go and level my characters up a bit more and I could level my materia up because I'm finding materia quicker than I can level it, and I'm like, Jesus Christ. I see materia and I'm like, what if I just leave it there? Like, what if I don't take it? Like, is it?
I got to the end of the game with so many materials that were still like level 1. Because I feel like for the length of game and the way that they've made it, like you get access to an awful lot of the materia that you wouldn't have got in Midgar and Final Fantasy VII. So you have a lot of materia. Sure. And I always found that I could always use more materia slot. Like I never had enough materia slots. Which I was like, so I reached the end of the game without having leveled up all my green materials. Like,
well, I think this is the point I was saying before. Like, there's with the old Final Fantasy VII, you could grind for as long as you wanted to. There was always the random fights. You could go out and you could spend 6 hours grinding if you really wanted to. With this one, it doesn't feel that way. I don't know if it opens up a little bit later, but the game has felt very linear so far. And when you're going between point A and B that has monsters in it, if you clear all that out and you go back through it, the monsters don't respawn. So you can't spend longer fighting. It's almost like the game's like, no, you fight now you do quests, now you do story, now you fight again. It's like the game tells you when you want to fight. And it's kind of a shame because like I know I've just spent like the last 10 minutes or whatever criticizing the combat, but it's not that I don't like the combat. I want to do the combat. I need to do the combat to level up my characters. And without having the ability to do that, like, I'm kind of stuck with the game. So, like I said, you get a new materia, and you go, oh, cool, I want to start leveling that up. It's like, nah, you can't. Because there's no enemies left.
Because, so, having, like, reached the end of the game, I feel like there is a reason that they've done it. And I don't want to go into too much, because it basically goes, so, like, I basically don't want to give you too much information as to, like, what happens at the end of the game, or, like, even just down to, like, the game mechanics at the end of the game and stuff. But like they do balance it out a lot better. And like there is a reason for it, basically, is all I can tell you.
All right.
We need to come together once you've finished.
Yeah, I know. I would have loved to finish it by now, but I've just been so busy. I've been streaming like 4 or 5 days a week, and then I've been playing a lot of games with friends recently. I've been playing a lot of PUBG, a lot of Dead by Daylight, and I've also started playing EVE Online because somebody told me I should, and I've been enjoying that. So it's weird. I've kind of not. I thought I was going to put a lot more hours into Final Fantasy VII, but I'm not putting hours in because I don't enjoy it. I'm just not putting the hours in because I'm so goddamn busy. Which brings me very nicely onto one of the points that I had to make today. The game length, because everybody's been losing their shit about Final Fantasy VII Remake's game length. I've heard people on both sides of this argument. You told me it's around 40 hours. Did you say 40 hours you completed it?
I think my end game time was like 38 and change. Yeah, and so I did everything. And also I was streaming, which might bump your hours up a little bit.
Yeah.
Because obviously streaming's slower than playing a game when you're in.
100%, because you get all that, people in chat that you got to ban and stuff and, all that. But so let's say 35 to 40 hours, right?
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of people who have kicked off being like, oh, girl, that's too short. Oh my God. And I'm like, I don't get it. I'm like,
I want
okay,
my games to be 800 hours long.
I don't understand it. 2 points. Well, actually, I have 3 points, right? Point number one, the original Final Fantasy VII was one of the shorter Final Fantasies. It really wasn't that long. Like, you could make it longer if you grinded a lot, but even then, it's really not that long. It's one of the shortest
Final
ones.
Fantasy VII had stuff to do to make it longer, whereas, I mean, this is the problem. I think a lot of people have got like 2/3 of the way through the game and then gone, well, I'm most of the way through the game. There's nothing to do. There is post-game shit to do.
Yeah.
There is more stuff to do once you finish. So I've done 40 hours and I will probably get at least another 60 hours out of the game.
Yeah.
To do all the things I want to do.
But
admittedly, I do want to play.
This is part one of however many parts. Like it's like, how long do you want a game to be? I get it, right? If you're enjoying the game, 40 hours, that's like that's a long length for any game. Even like The Witcher 3 was not that many hours. Like, I mean, like, how many hours does part one of a game need to be for you? I don't understand why people are complaining that it wasn't long enough. Like, I don't think
it's so much about like part one being longer, but I think it's like, so it is part one, but it is a full price game.
Yeah.
It's not part one and it's £15. It's part one and it was 50 quid.
Yeah, but this is what I'm going to say. Like, okay, so the game is 40 hours long. In my opinion, already, I'm probably 15 to 20 hours in, probably less than that, to be honest. I've already got to the point where I'm like, I feel like there's a lot of filler. I feel like there's a lot of filler that didn't need to be here. Maybe this is just because I'm a busy person and I play video games in I would like to say a professional capacity, but, you know, I do it for Twitch and for YouTube, right? Maybe I look at video games differently to people, but I'm like, I don't want just padding in my games. I want my games to be interesting, compelling, and enjoyable. I don't like I said before, there's a lot of moments in this game where I'm like, do we need this? Do we really need to walk through this street where nothing happened? Like, really? Like the arms, the crane arms. I've just on them right now. There's this section of the game where you got to pick crane arms up and you've got to like move them around, and it's so boring. To be
fair, the crane arms is like, they could have streamlined it.
They could just remove the whole thing, like do it once. Okay, what I'm saying, right? So
in the original, there's like the same road has the crane arm, but it's just
it's just part of the scenery. Yeah. Now they've added in these crane arms where you can move them left and right, up and down, and pick stuff up with them, right?
But you can only move them left and right or up and down. Which was rough. Yeah. You can't switch crane arms whilst holding something.
Yeah.
You have to go to certain spots.
They don't just use it like once.
Aerith is a fucking idiot as well. Oh my god. So during that part, there was a point, Aerith was stood in one of the boxes that you can pick up and put down the crates, and I needed to move the crate to where she was. So I went, cool. And just went, cool, move this. Bear in mind, she was on the place. I had to put the crate back down over here, move the crane arm here, move her from there to here. That was flat fucking concrete ground. Then I had to go get the crate again and put it over here. And I feel like
we need a diagram for this. I feel like if I had the animation skills, we'd have a diagram where there's like a little stick man being like moving the crane
might
arm
literally, so at the moment I am in the process of editing the VOD sound. I might just go find that bit and I'll send it to you. I literally hit her with the crate and she was like, ah, and then she was still not like, oh, maybe I'm in the way. Like, bitch, move.
It's true.
I'm gonna go clip this and I'm gonna send it to you.
The same thing happened to me where there was like, I don't even want to call it a puzzle because it's so goddamn mindless. And you want to talk about that part being bullshit, right? So there's this one part where you got to move two independent arms, and as Elliot says, you can't move them together. You've got to switch them out, but you can't switch them out while one arm's holding one thing. You basically had to grab two crates and stack them together to let spoilers, to let Aerith, whatever, get over it. But because Aerith was on the other platform, I couldn't move one of them. So I had to like move one out of the way to move the other one in, to move the other one back in on top of it, right? So this took ages because of the stupid controls, and I'm like,
and then it gives you a hint and you yell at it.
Yes! It was like, have you tried stacking them? And I was like, fuck you! Don't make me look like an idiot. I know what I'm doing. It's your goddamn stupid controls that make me take ages.
So literally the thing I was just describing, it was like, I was just like, literally, so I'm like, fucking Eris, and I'm moving her across and I get the crate. And literally, she stands there and goes, "Have you tried stacking the crates?" I was like, "Fuck you, Eris! You won't."
Oh god damn it! I need a moment. I need to sit down. But this is what I'm saying. It's
that
just
bit could not have come
so
together
unnecessary. Like, it's such a time waste for me, and I'm like, I genuinely don't think the game would have been any worse if they had just cut that entire section out. Now, just before that bit, there was a really cool, like, 2-second bit where you fight these bandits who are really funny. They actually had me laughing.
Burke's crew. Laughing. I love Burke's crew.
So there's these bandits that come out, and they have this, like, really funny dialogue where they're all, like, saying stupid stuff. That was fine. But after you fight
compensation?
Yeah. But, like, they're really easy. The fight is a piece of piss, right? But once you've downed them...
I actually really enjoyed the fight. The three of them fighting the way that they did reminded me of Major Sisters in Final Fantasy X.
I mean, they just went down too quickly for me. That's what she said. No, they just literally like
they
were
shadow
like
banned.
to it.
Why even bother recording?
Probably already shadow banned, to be honest. But like, it was like 2 or 3 hits. But then when they go down, when they're on the floor, like I literally in my head was like, wait, did we just kill them? And then immediately as I said that, one of the characters was like, shh, pretend we're dead. And then the other guy was like, oh, I'm so dead. Oh, I'm really dead.
And I know
I
that.
Left.
You can stack them all in a corner and push them through a door.
For God's sake.
I'm just going to do a fucking supercut every time Elliot got distracted. And so they make a noise if you run over them.
Yes.
And when you run over them, it moves them a little bit.
Yeah.
So there's a door at the start of that part. I piled them all in the doorway and one of them popped through the texture of the door. So I opened the door and was shoving them out the door in the pile.
But this is what I'm saying. So like I ran over one of them and he was like, ah, and I was like, it made me chuckle. And I was just like, like, I don't know how long that took to develop, but this little throwaway 2-second thing that they added in, I was like, that was great. I enjoyed that. And then the next bit after that was like half an hour of just boring, mindless, let's move shit. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but it reminds me of a lot of those games like Tomb Raider and like The Last Guardian and these games that just have like, I don't see the point in it. Like, I don't see the point in, oh, I need to cross a bridge and I can't figure it out and all you got to do is just push a thing in place. Like, it just bores the crap out of me. Like, I just don't like that kind of game. And it's like, there was none of that in the original because the original was just a pure RPG with pixel graphics and, you know, 2D backgrounds. Now they've added all these like sort of, I don't know what you'd call them. Like, what would you call them? Like, they're not really puzzle sections. They're just, here's something to do section, like busy work. And it just, I don't know, it bores me, man. I'm not a fan of that shit. But I guess if you like pushing crates around and stuff,
I definitely think they could have streamlined some of the animation stuff, but like, so there's a lot of people saying about like filler in the game. Yeah. I wouldn't say those things are filler, but like they clearly had an idea for a puzzle and then they went, but we can't just have like one little section that's like a 20-second puzzle, which is what they should have done. They should have just gone like, oh yeah, like do it as a crane thing, like move something over. Where they had like the hidden item, where if you move Eris like to the right spot, she goes and gets like an extra material or something.
Yeah.
Like that was fine, but then they could have just been like, okay, cool, and then she gets the ladder, and then you move on, and that's
my argument is I would have enjoyed the game more if they'd have literally just put that materia out in the open and I would have gone and picked it up and I would have had more fun that way. Like the whole crane section just felt so slow and boring to me that I felt it detracts from all the really good things from the game because the story really good, characters really good, graphics for the most part really, really good. Combat, again, I have my problems with the combat, but the combat is fine. I enjoy it. A lot of people said they hate it. That's totally up to them. Like, that's their opinion. I don't hate it.
Honestly, need to take note because there is stuff that I want to talk to you again about after you've gotten later in the game. Because like the combat later on really opens up. Oh, yeah. Who's your favorite character to fight with? Because I spent most of the start of the game only fighting with Cloud.
I like all of them.
2/3 of the way in, I started fighting with Tifa, and oh my god, she's satisfying to fight with.
Yeah. I like all of them.
The way her stuff works, like the cheese stuff, where you get more hits in the combos. It opens up other skills. Do you know she can increase the stagger damage? Oh. If something's staggered, she can increase it above whatever it's like. I think it's 180%.
Yeah.
She has certain skills where it increases it above and beyond. You can get to like 250, 300% stagger.
Oh shit!
Like it's tasty.
tasty amounts of stagger, boys. No, I like all of them. Honestly, even like Eris, I thought like she was going to be super boring to play, but like, even her, she can sort of like pirouette around and throw little mini spells at people that seem to do quite a lot of stagger damage. And
her wards she puts on the floor, like the arcane ward, is her first skill, is actually very, very fucking useful.
yes,
Oh,
I can
shit,
imagine. I can
punched
imagine
my
it
microphone
being...
a lot.
It's fine. It's probably more interesting than the words coming out of your mouth. I'm joking. But no, they're all very different to play. Like you can give them whatever material you want. So you can give cure to anybody, you can give like fire to anybody, whatever you want to do. But like they all have their own unique abilities, and you have to unlock them with weapons. So you equip a weapon, and it has its own unique ability, and after you use that ability so many times, you unlock it permanently for that character. Honestly, I don't know why they bothered with that system, because you have to do it like 5 times, then you've unlocked it forever.
I thought so. Final Fantasy 9 is my least favorite leveling system. So Final Fantasy 7 with the materia I love, because everyone's like super, like everyone has their own stat growth rates, but like the materia changes your stats, and also you can completely overhaul your skills anytime you want. Love it. Final Fantasy 8 with the Guardian Forces was like fine, whatever. Level up GFs, they get new skills, you get new skills, Junction, whatever, fine.
No one
9
understands it, but yeah.
I felt the whole time through 9, you get a new weapon, and normally you get a new weapon, you're like, yeah, new weapon, I'm going to be stronger, I'm going to fight better. I spent all of 9, every playthrough I've had of that game, going, great, a new weapon, and I still need 110 before I can fucking equip it.
Yeah.
But this one's done it really well, because every weapon has like a proficiency bonus.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, if you use the skill and it kills something, you get, I think it's like 10% proficiency for using the skill, and 20% extra if you do the bonus. So you can effectively get skills fully leveled in 3 or 4 uses.
Yeah.
So, oh my god, I got such a good one of Barrett's skills, because the thing was like, oh, if you kill someone, and I got like 4 kills in the same use of it, and it just instantly was like, yeah, cool, pop, cool, you're done. And
This is what I'm saying. It feels like, I mean, I would love to say I wish that they made it take a little bit longer, so you would keep a weapon for a bit longer and not just default. Because the way that I'm doing it, obviously I want Cloud to have Buster Sword, because Buster Sword is iconic, and until I can find Ultima Weapon, if they ever put that in the game, which I'm sure they will, until I can find Ultima Weapon, I'm just going to keep Buster Sword, right? And it's really nice that Buster Sword keeps leveling up even while you're using your other weapons, you're getting skill points for it, so that once you've unlocked the proficiency bonus for one weapon, you can just go straight back to Buster Sword, and it's more powerful than your new weapon. So it's like, great. Like, I've just unlocked a nail bat. It looks awful. I don't want to use it. I'm just using it for the proficiency.
I love the nail bat. I have a great clip with the nail bat. One of the hedgehog pies like jumped at me, and I did like a full like from the hip swing, and he just goes like ping, and I was like, oh, run!
Nice. I'll have to check out that clip.
I love the nail bat. Have you done the Boxbuster game yet?
Yes.
So I did the Boxbuster game with the nail bat. Very satisfying.
Yeah, I did it a couple of times with the nail bat, and then I was like, nah, I did it with the I went back to my Buster Sword. But no, that's what I'm saying. Like, I like that they've added all these new sort of mechanics in, but half of them just feel like almost tacked on. Like there's no real, I don't think there's any real need for the proficiency system. If you're gonna do the proficiency system, make it something that takes time to unlock. But the problem is there isn't enough combat to do that. So you're spending more time in this one running around basically doing sort of like side quests and fetch quests and things like that than you are actually doing the combat. And I don't mind the side quests. Like, most of them have been pretty inoffensive. There's not been one quest that's maybe gone like, ugh, this was crap. But a lot of them are just really generic too. Like, a lot of them are just like, oh, find 5 people, or oh, can you take this thing to somebody else?
Find like a whole load of people can be a bit like, but to be fair, I used it as a good excuse. So I would go around, get all the side quests, and then I would do things like, because in the top left of the screen, you would get like, it shows what song's playing, and every now and then the song playing would be question marks, which means normally there is a vinyl that you can get nearby.
Yeah.
And I wanted all the vinyls because Nobuya Metsu's a genius.
Yeah.
So I wanted access to all the songs. So I kind of used go find all of these children that are hiding around the town as an excuse to go and run everywhere and see if there's items, see if there's vinyls to get, check the shops for like sale items or material I don't have or whatever.
Sure.
So I kind of found that like you can utilize it well.
Yeah. I found them very inoffensive, but I can absolutely understand why some people are saying this is filler, because it really is. Like, a lot of it, you meet these side characters and these quest characters. Some of them are interesting, some of them are not. And the ones that are interesting, they usually have like such a shallow level of interest, and then you move on and you probably never see them again. You might see them later, I guess, but like, there's just characters that I just go, oh, I really want to learn more about that character, and then it's like, nope, see you later, you're off. I
found it because like even the one where you go find all the kids in Sector 5, like even like with that one, a lot of them talk about like, oh, like we're from the orphanage, and so like I think I didn't see it as filler because I'm so interested in knowing more about like the world that it's in. And also information about the orphanage gives you information about other characters and stuff.
So this is where we differ, because I saw an orphanage and I was like, right, bunch of sad kids, great. And then it was like, hey, can you go and round up a bunch of sad kids? And I was like, sure. And then I did round up a bunch of sad kids. I brought them back, and then they were still sad because they needed more stuff that I needed to do for them. And I was like, okay, great, cool. Combat now. I went and did some combat, came back, and the sad kids gave me a weapon. And I was like, could we not just skip to the combat bit? That would have been more fun. But
this kind of comes back to like when we played Wolfenstein Youngblood, and I was like, oh wow, there's like collectibles and like voice tapes, and you were like, I have no interest in that. I was like, it gives you experience, and you were like, I'm in. Like,
very true. Which, to be fair, I don't think you have to really do all the side quests. I think you can skip them. Like, I don't think you
can skip them. There's small effects on what it happens, but it's only like a lot of it's like, it doesn't matter to the story or your progress, but like it changes little things. Like there is an effect to doing stuff, but like if you're not fussed by the things like actually happening, it's fine. You can 100% just like bin it off.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of moments where you'll see somewhere that you'll recognize from the original game, and seeing it in fully 3D, and again, for the most part, really nice graphics. Just
Aerith Garden.
Yes, this is literally what I was thinking of. Like, Aerith Garden was just,
and the playground.
They've managed to, something that I really think needs like acknowledging is that they've managed to take 2D environments and nail them in 3D. Like they just, you're like, yeah, this is how it would. Like, if I was to imagine this 2D place in my head, this is exactly how it would be. Like, the
going across the rooftops after the church, perfect. Aerith's garden was perfect. Aerith's house was weird. It was way more different how it was originally, but I didn't hate it. I don't know.
The layout was same for me. Like, they had the
hated the sneaking out. Because you've already snuck out of Aerith's.
Yes, the sneak out, though, have you noticed? How many times did you fail?
None. I'm a pro gamer. I've completed Sekiro.
I failed on purpose because I wanted to see what the dialogue was if you fail. After you fail twice, it makes it easier. So if you don't know what we're talking about...
There's like less shit.
Yeah, there's like all these... So for the original game, you had to sneak out because Aerith's mom was like, get out, you're a weirdo, I hate you, stop dating my daughter. And you're like, fair enough, good point, well made, I'll leave. And you have to sneak out. And in this one...
Wait, can we just... So in the original, the way that you sneak out, there's a squeaky floorboard in the middle that you have to go round, and if you run, the footsteps wake her up.
Yeah.
Whereas this one, I was very disappointed when you walk out of the room and it's just like, oh, they're having some kind of garage sale. Like, I didn't...
Yeah, it's like they can't be asked cleaning up. She spends too long outside doing flowers and shit.
I wish that they'd just gone like, cool, it's going to be the same squeaky floorboard in the same place. And if you run, like, do it the same way for the old fans so that you can be like, weird, I know where the squeaky floorboard is.
They keep some stuff so true. And then other things that, like, I don't know why they change it. Like, what was the point in that? Just, I agree with you. Just do the sneaky floorboard. Like, he's sneaking out and then the floorboard, he's like, oh shit, didn't think of that. But like when you walk out of her room and you just see like there's two identical red buckets and then there's like a flower pot and then
the chairs
like...
are stacked up like a bar at the end of service. Like I didn't
like,
because surely her mum's in the bedroom upstairs and she's blocked herself it. Like is she building a barricade? Is she prepping for the zombie apocalypse?
She's got a lot of toilet paper up there, you know what I'm saying? She don't want
it's like an early alarm system. Like I don't.
Well, you know, there's a lot of monsters in Midgard.
Damn,
there's a lot of people
keep breaking in. So we found out we just piled buckets everywhere. Rudo
he can't figure it out. He's like, I don't know how to get around these buckets. I'm out. Sorry, Shinra. But yeah, I don't know.
All of downstairs they just put mirrors in, and Reno can't stop looking at himself like a parakeet.
I can imagine it as well. But yeah, no, I don't know. They got the same voice actor who did Cloud in Advent Children to do Cloud here, so that feels great because it just sounds like Advent Children Cloud. There's a lot of the voice actors are different, and some of them, in my opinion, are a little bit suspicious. Rude was like a little bit like, I don't
Rude's
know
one
if
wasn't
that sounds like
ideal. I
Rude.
really liked Barrett's one. Tifa's
Yeah.
one was like Tifa's one was spot
Tifa's
on.
Yeah, 100%.
And actually, I think I like this Aerith better than the one in the movies.
Aerith in this game is very different, in my opinion, to Aerith from Final Fantasy VII. She's given a lot more character development. She's given a lot more depth. She's given a lot. She's been made a lot cutesier, in my opinion. She was always cutesy, but she's been made even more so in this one.
In 7 she was almost stoic. Like she's always supposed to be like strong and independent, but in this one I think they made her I think in 7 she was more stoic, and in this one she's way more open with stuff.
Yeah.
I like it. The problem was, because of previous knowledge, I didn't want to get too invested. So I was
yeah, again, we've already given a spoiler warning. I'm going to give another spoiler warning because I don't want to ruin it for anybody, but really, go and play the goddamn game before you listen to this episode. But
I think
knowing what we know about Aerith and Aerith's character development and journey, there's so much foreshadowing in this one. I would argue too much foreshadowing. There's been moments where she literally says, I won't be around forever. There's another moment where
I caught that as well.
Yeah, I was like, I know we all know. And for me, because I know, I'm like, right? Like, do you know something that we all know? But then for people who've never played the game, it's going to make it so obvious. There's another part where goddamn Cloud just has one of his random little sort of hissy fits that he has in both games, where he hears her theme and then just sheds a tear. Like, now, does he know now? It's like...
Problem is, me and Cloud have the same problem, literally. So I shed a single tear twice playing this game, and both times it was just the Aerith theme. Like, that's it. I hear that song and it tears me up. Like, that's just it.
I think it's worse if you've watched Advent Children as well. Like, I think Advent Children screwed me.
Advent Children.
Yeah, which, by the way, if you've played 7 and you haven't watched Advent Children, Gozzy, I'm talking to you, please go watch it. It's so worth it. Like, I don't care if you don't like anime or whatever, it's so worth it. It's such a beautiful story to, like, sort of wrap up
it's
the
really well
of the first
put together
game.
As well.
Yeah. It's like the therapy we all needed after Final Fantasy VII, to be honest.
I honestly, end of Final Fantasy VII Remake, I needed therapy.
Yeah.
I sat there, and because I'd finished after 8 hours instead of 10, originally I was like, oh, if I finish early, like, we'll sit around and chat about it and stuff. And I literally sat there, like, during the credits and was just like, I don't have words. I was like, I'm full of feelings. I'm very worn down. I'm very tired. And I just kind of went, I'm just going to send a raid out. I was like, we're going to raid. I was like, I can't talk about it right now. Like, it's literally what I was like.
Yeah. I mean, it is, like I say, Final Fantasy VII had moments that still to this day are iconic and are massively influential moments in video game story history. And they've really gone all in with that, and they've really sort of compounded those points. And in most times in this game, it makes it better. It's like, great, seeing these characters have extra development just means that things that's going to happen to these characters later has more weight. Brilliant. Love it. Seeing these characters have more of their own personalities and seeing them do all this, all this side bullshit that you don't need to see happen adds more weight. Brilliant. But then they go weird with certain plot points, and I'm just like, I don't feel like half of some of them are just so unnecessary so far. Like I say, with the whole tier, the ghosts, I'm like, why?
I can't talk to you about the ghosts.
Ruined a part of the game for me now. Like, you've added weird shit that never happened. They're not important, or they're plot important?
The ghosts are plot important. I literally can't talk to you about them. We need to not talk about the ghosts.
I just look, so far anyway, the ghosts have just been annoying, a hindrance.
Yeah, no,
and I don't need them.
Carries on, but
I mean, I have a guess. Like, I have a guess.
I honestly think you're probably wrong. Because no, I can't ruin the ghosts for you. This is why I'm mad that you're not streaming the game. Because now I know what you're gonna walk into. I feel like I desperately want to see you walk into it.
I made the decision
finishing
not
Final Fantasy. I cannot help but watch people stream it. I just go and find people that are towards the end of the thing, and I just go watch. Like I
came to the executive decision that I wasn't going to stream it. And the reason why is story games on Twitch, people can't help themselves. There's always that one dickhead who's further ahead than you that can't help coming in and spoiling it. And the problem is when you're the streamer, you see the spoiler before your mods get to ban it. I do, because I'm always constantly on top of my chat. So I see the spoiler before my mods get to it.
I actively wasn't on top of my chat for the whole stream.
Yeah.
And I basically said to mods just like, I was like, time out everything. Because
Yeah.
I watch my chat through my dashboard. So if something gets timed out, I don't see it. Whereas if you watch like Streamlabs chatbot, you can still see timed out messages.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's a game that's important to me. It's one of my favorite games of all time. It was the first Final Fantasy I ever played. It's a game that is personal, and it's a game that I decided I wanted to play in my own time for my own enjoyment. I didn't want to do any content. I didn't want to turn it into work. Is the best way of describing it.
Are you not recording it at all then?
Nope.
Because even when I play games offline, I don't act like I'm recording it, but I just hit record because I'm so used to it by now.
No, I even thought
it never goes anywhere. But
it's the same thing. Like when I record a let's play, you're just thinking, okay, I want to try and be entertaining, or I want to try and like fill in gaps with speaking and stuff. And I'm like, no, I want to enjoy this, and I want to enjoy it for me. And so I decided not to do any streaming or anything like that with it. And I'm honestly glad I did, because I'm behind now as well, because I've been putting like a couple of hours in every night before I go to sleep, kind of thing, and just doing that. And I'm really enjoying it. I'm really, really enjoying that. I'm taking my time with it, which is so rare for me these days. It's so rare that I get to take my time with a game. In the world of YouTube, especially, it's like you've got to barrel through a game and then record it and get it out there and get on to the next one. And it's like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I wanted to enjoy it, and I am enjoying it. I think it's a very good game. I am so glad that it exists. I think that it adds so much more to the original game. It doesn't replace the original game, far from it. I still think the original's better in a lot of ways. But this is like, I don't know, it's almost like a different, it's the best way of describing it. It's like somebody's telling a story and then somebody else tells the story again, but they've added bits in. It's like, like a retelling of a story. It's like not quite the same as the first time it got told. It's almost like somebody else is telling it, and I like that. It's a different variation of the story, and I'm enjoying it quite a bit so far.
I mean, I've already said it, but like, I loved it. I very much enjoyed it. I very much 50-50, like, do I want to stream it? Do I not want to stream it? But I had the conversation with my community beforehand and basically said, I streamed it for people who were never going to play it, who didn't play the original, who weren't that interested, didn't know the story in that. And I basically streamed it because the people in my community that I was close to that were interested in seeing me experience something that I loved, like, I was just like, cool, that's fine. I'll stream it for you guys. But I kind of went into it with a bit of a, it is going to be zero tolerance in chat and stuff, with bans, timeouts, all that stuff. Also, I was like, it's not going to be, I turned off all of my chat rewards. I turned off like almost everything. I was just like, cool, I'm going to turn everything off. I kept my alert box on, but I was like, all text speech is off, or like praise of someone was off, ASMR's off, like all of that stuff. I was like, chat currency is useless during this time. I was like, because end of the day, I am playing a game that I want to experience fully without that other stuff muddying that water. But like, in the end of the day, like, I've really enjoyed it because the people that hadn't seen the game before, like, got so invested. The number of times in chat I had people who were like, oh yeah, I never played the old Final Fantasies, but like, watching you play it and seeing what I'm seeing at the moment has 100% made me want to play this game.
It's a great story. It really is. And this is part of the reason why I get so frustrated with all the busy work, is because I want to get to those story points. I want to get to those plot points. I want to get to the stuff that I know is so great, and I want to see where the different ways they go with it this time. And I feel like sometimes the whole like, oh hey, let's do a fetch quest, kind of get in the way of that a little bit. But anyway, enough crapping all over it. It's a great game. I don't do scores, but I think it is better than I was hoping. It is more than a remake. It is a completely new retelling, and it's been done pretty well so far. And I'm definitely going to buy the next parts, because it's definitely met my expectations and exceeded them. So yeah, I have criticisms, and I hope that they learn from that with their next parts, because essentially the next parts are going to be, different games. I highly doubt all of these parts are going to come out on PlayStation 4. I think they're going to come out on future
PS5
consoles.
is going to be, I think it might be a very, very clever marketing campaign of release part 1 and then part 2 goes PS5 only.
Possibly. I mean, please bring it to PC. I would prefer it on PC, but
Well, they've already
Ain't gonna
said that it's
happen.
going to go to PC, but like a year delay.
Yeah, I can't wait a year to play a game like this. Come on, I don't have the patience.
I
I
can
don't.
barely, because it's going to be at least a year for part 2. I can barely wait that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I don't. I think even confirmed. I wouldn't be surprised if it was longer than that, to be honest. Because these are big games. These are
well, they started work on it apparently last summer.
yeah, yeah. But this has been in development for like forever. Like, when did we see the teaser?
It
Like
hasn't.
6-7 years ago.
I mean, they didn't start it from like they didn't start developing this version of it during the teaser,
I
and now
think
that
they
because
did.
now they have a ticking clock. Because
Yeah,
before it was like, oh, we're gonna do it, and then it was like, oh, do we do it like for the PS4? And then it was like, is it the right time? And because like 15 came out and it was very like controversially taken up, like, oh, the action battle. And I think basically people at Square were sat there being like, damn it, if we do 7, do we do it action? Do we do it tactical? Do we change it?
I've said it a million times. Square are shit scared of the old turn-based system. They think I don't know if they're scared of it or if they're just trying so hard to make a mainstream success. Like, they're like, okay, people want action these days. It's not true. Look at Persona. Look how well Persona sold. People still want that type of combat, but Square are like, no, it's got to be modern and it's got to be action based because we all know the kids don't want to play the Call of Duty. And it's just like, come on. There's definitely a market. I would love to see maybe just like a different Final Fantasy game, like Final Fantasy 16 or something. I'd love to see it come out and be the old style, like ATB system, or turn-based system. But
I think they're gonna come up with a new installation to Tactics. That's what I think they're gonna do for turn-based.
Possibly. But anyway, I think that is. I think we pretty much said everything that we wanted to say on Final Fantasy 7. It has been a journey so far. I'm looking forward to finishing it, and I will probably give my opinions when I do finish it. But yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. I'm gonna cut it here because it's been an hour and 10 minutes on one.
It's been an hour and 10
on one game. Yeah,
I could talk about this game for like 8 hours.
I could talk about this game for 8 hours. I just don't think that would be a very entertaining YouTube video.
That's it.
That's it. But thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and all of the usual stuff. You can find more videos. I make more videos. I do. Sometimes I do Let's Plays. Yeah, Elliot is in some of them. He's not wrong. I do Let's Plays sometimes. I do game reviews sometimes. I do opinion pieces sometimes. And sometimes I talk crap about the companies that I used to work for that I hate, that are stupid. And yeah, Elliot, what about you? What do you do? What kind of content do you make? Where can people find you if they want to see more?
I stream on Twitch.
We're going to break into song then. I stream on Twitch.
No, I stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/BlindsideUK. I actually don't even know what I'm streaming tomorrow. We're filming this on a Friday. I don't even know what I'm playing yet. I might play Nier. Automata because I've never played it and I bought it.
I thought you meant Neo, and I was like, wait, you actually meant.
To be fair, Neo was in the running as well because I started it and then never finished it.
Yeah, you play a lot. You play a lot of like the Souls-like games, don't you? So
I play a lot of Souls-like action games. Generally, it's single-player, story-driven games that I can yell at NPCs and be done.
Yeah, because the Souls games are story-driven. Absolutely, yeah. Here's like one sliver of a story. Here, have it, eat it up, and talk about it.
You're not reading the descriptions on every item that you pick up.
Reading shit. When I stream Dark Souls, people are like, "Oh, I got a new item," and I'm like, "Yeah, new sword," and they're like, "Yeah, read it," and I'm like, "What the fuck do I want to read it for?"
You have to read the swords. You can't not read the swords.
Apparently, you got to read the swords.
Yeah, I've got a Bloodborne run that I've done the start of and then never finished. I got a Dark Souls 3 run that I've done the prep work for, got the build sorted, and then I just need to go into it properly.
Yeah.
Dark Souls 2 I will never touch again. That game is garbage.
Oh my God, you always stand up for it. When I say it's garbage, you always stand up for it.
No, Dark Souls 2 gets so much better. Like the first bit is rough and then it gets way better. But I was talking to Salbri about it, and she pointed out the thing that I could never put my finger on that was the problem with that game. The bosses are forgettable.
Yeah.
Like Dark Souls 3, I remember almost every boss fight. Dark Souls 1, the boss fights with these huge things. Dark Souls 2, every boss fight is just like an hour later, you don't remember you fought it.
I love how we were like wrapping up in time where you find us, and now we've gone on a tangent about Dark Souls. I mean, look, we could do an episode about this shit. Okay, we could save it.
Going on about Final Fantasy 7
it for another episode. People, go follow him on Twitch. He streams way more than I. Actually, that's not true anymore. He streams a lot on Twitch. Go follow him on Twitch.
Saturdays and Sundays.
Subscribe to me on YouTube if you haven't already. If you have, thank you. I love you. I appreciate you. If you haven't, I don't. So
it's just down there.
It's somewhere. Where is it? Like there? I think it's there. Click subscribe.
Wait, no. So I'm reversed on mine and not on yours. So there.
It's there. Just click it wherever it is. Just click
You
subscribe.
just edit it so that wherever it is, just move me
I'll just put it all over the screen. Just a giant subscribe button. Just do it. We actually hit 500 subs recently, and I haven't been able to do a video yet, and we're already at like 530, which is decent growth for me. So thank you. Look, I have it in the background. Thanks for 500
like
subs,
6 subs
which
on
Elliot thought meant Twitch subs, and I had to do a fucking laugh because I was like,
yeah, I thought you were rich. I was
500
like,
Twitch subs. Sure
I'm
thing, pal.
paying.
Sure thing. I'm a male on Twitch. I've got like 4. No, I'm joking. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.